You're on testosterone. You should have a sex drive through the roof. It's all good because today I'm going to sort this all out. That honeymoon period of being on testosterone is over and your libido is not what it used to be.
I don't feel so good.
So you've turned your attentions to HCG. How do we mix it correctly? Let's address that right now and keep the wife happy. Start off with washing your hands with soap for 20 seconds. Then we line up all our materials. You'll need an alcohol wipe, your back water, the HCG vial, a tissue, your Reconstitution 1ml syringe with a 21 gauge and a 25 gauge, plus an insulin syringe. Time to use those muscles. Get a tissue, put it on top of the back water, snap it off, and now you've got access to the water. Remove the cap from the HCG top. Use an alcohol wipe to sterilize the top of the vial. Add the green 25 gauge needle to your syringe. Needle goes into the backwater. We draw it out slowly. Typically, HCG comes in 5,000 IU vials, which means 1 ml of backwater is going to give you 5,000 international units. What's that in English, Dr. James? 250 IUs per 5 units, or 500 IUs per 10 units. This is a step a lot of people forget. Put 1 ml of air into the HCG vial. This depressurizes the vial, and when you draw out the HCG, it doesn't spray everywhere. Swap the 21 gauge green for the 25 gauge orange. With your water-filled syringe, pierce the stopper. Slowly push the backwater down the side of the vial. It must be down the side, as you can see, at an angle. This medicine is very precious. If you inject directly onto the powder, you could destroy it. We are nearly there. Remove the needle, roll the HCG in your fingertips. Do not shake it, you'll destroy it, and then let it settle for 5 minutes. After you've reconstituted it, put it in the fridge, because once mixed, it can lose its potency within 2 weeks. I recommend you source 1,500 international unit vials. These are generally used up in 2 weeks. I have the 5,000 IU vials, so I keep mine in the freezer to make sure it's got extra freshness. When it's time to inject, I take it out of the freezer, I allow it to thaw for 5 minutes, before injecting my desired dosage. Dosages are different for everyone. A good place to start is 250 IU every other day per week. See how you feel on that dose, then potentially bump it up to 500 every other day. Try and find your lowest effective dosage of HCG, otherwise you'll need an overhaul of your entire estrogen management protocol. Testosterone is higher in the day and lower at night because it has a circadian rhythm, so we want to recreate this. Don't be injecting HCG late at night, it's not ideal, do it in the morning. People take HCG but they're not actually sure of what it does. So let me fill you in. It's going to upregulate 5-alpha reductase activity, which is a very, very, very important enzyme, as it converts your injectable test to the most powerful androgen. Libido, sexual function, erection quality, strength, motivation, muscle fullness are all androgenic effects. If you just do TRT or cycle test, your balls will fall asleep. We need to use HCG to wake those balls up again. We must have that estrogen in the right range before we raise the androgens. From HCG's high affinity and binding capacity to the androgen receptor, I notice a big difference in libido and sensitivity when I'm getting busy. It's one hell of a drug. If you are struggling with libido, you can add a DHT like Proviron. This does not need to be 5-alpha reduced. It already comes packaged as a DHT and goes straight in to bind with the androgen receptor. They're very effective at lowering SHBG. Therefore, guys notice a very good increase in their libido in the first 2-3 weeks. After that, because the SHBG has been tanked, they notice a decrease in the libido. Then they don't know what to do.
Mission abort.
Personally, I do not use Proviron for that reason. When I'm in my cruise TRT phase, I use DHEA, HCG, pregnenolone, DIM, calcium D-glucarate, selenium. But on cycle, I use Masteron as my DHT over Proviron because it's a stronger compound, far more bioavailable, than Proviron and pharmacokinetically superior. And overall, it's going to outpace and outlast Proviron with its effects.
Bam, bop, bada bop, boom, pow.
The downside is it makes your hairline run down to your ears. But that's going to be genetic anyway. If you're going to lose it, you're going to lose it. Look at your mother's side of the family for clues with hair loss. If you're concerned before your cycle, add in a DHT test to your baseline of biomarkers and then monitor it throughout your cycle. HCG plays a role in signaling the thyroid to grow. So a low dose of levothyroxine T4 might be needed. The goal is to maintain your TSH within the normal limits. The dosage of your T4 wants to be increased if your levels of TSH are above normal and should be decreased if your TSH levels fall below the normal range. But be careful on this, you don't want to mess up your thyroid. Look to your blood work at the right intervals to give you your answers. Very important when you're starting the HCG to watch your estrogen levels. Once the DHT kicks in, you'll probably have to manage your estrogen a tad less because the DHT has an effect on preventing the estrogen receptor activation post E2 binding. People look to testosterone for the answer, but it's best to optimize the entire hormonal cascade. That includes androstenedione, pregnenolone, DHEA and progesterone, plus more. These other hormones are going to play a big role in other functions of your body. And the testosterone will cause suppression of these signaling mechanisms, leading to loss of libido. So injecting testosterone and doing other gear is only a small piece of the puzzle. If you want well-being and an excellent sex drive, we have to consider all the other hormones that are interplaying with everything else. If you don't do that, you're asking for trouble. If you need help and guidance on your cycle to get that physique, but not to suffer the curse of that low libido, reach out. You can contact me in the description box below. Click that link and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. The next video is a cracker. It's all about the supplements that you should consider when you're on TRT or you're cycling and blasting the Hulk juice. See you in 2 moments, brother. I'm out.